Liao, and welcome back on Online. And we still have with us the Executive Vice President, Power Business Asia Pacific, member of the Executive Committee of Schneider Electric, Mr. Eric Rondolat. So Eric, this time we're going to talk about smart grid. Okay, a lot of people is saying that smart grid actually is not a product but a vision. Okay, can you expound on this? Do you agree to this, and can you expound on this?
It's a vision, and it's also a reality.
Okay.
So let's talk about this for a while, but let's try to make it as simple as can be. When we talk about energy, you have to take into account two big notions. The first one is generation, and the other one is consumption.
Okay.
And if you want the world to work, you need to have consistency between generation and consumption. So you generate the amount that you need to consume. Now we have to take into account the big revolutions that are undergoing both in generation and in consumption. In generation, we used to have systems where the generation was totally centralized. Now you start to have decentralized generation of electricity, which is helped by renewables, solar farms, windmills. So you start to have delocalized type of generation. At the same time, we are more diverse type of production of energy. We used to have fossil fuels, nuclear energy, centralized. We still have that, but we now have renewable energy, decentralized. And when you're producing solar, when you're producing from windmills, it's not permanent production. So it brings other challenges when you have to put that energy back on the grid.
Okay.
So the revolution at the level of the generation is twofold. Decentralization and diversification of type of generation. Let's go on the consumption side.
Okay.
On the consumption side, you have another revolution, which is that the consumption is rising, and it's much more erratic than before, much less easy to forecast. And at the same time, we believe that we start to have, and we're going to have in the future, mobile energy consumption.
Okay.
Electric vehicles. If you go in a country like China, you have a lot of electrical bicycles. And we believe that in the future we're going to have more and more electric vehicles in general, cars, buses, and so on. So this energy consumption is going to be even more complicated to forecast because you don't know exactly where it's going to be.
Great.
So how can you make a clear and bring a clear solution to these two revolutions, both at the generation side and at the consumption side, understanding that we need to create a kind of consistency. And this is what we call smart grids, because before it was simple. You were generating centrally, delivering to a stable consumption environment. Tomorrow, you will have to generate centrally in a decentralized mode with different means of generation to consumers that are not easy to locate, and to a consumption which is not easy to forecast. And you need a smart grid. So you need to put intelligence that is going to connect those two worlds automatically and permanently. And we cannot do it the way we used to do it before, when it was very simple and streamlined. Now we need intelligence to connect those two worlds of generation and consumption.
But is it easy to achieve this?
It's not easy to achieve because it's a global promise with a lot of different blocks, some of them on the supply side, on the generation side, and some others on the consumption side. For instance, smart buildings. You need to have intelligent buildings that are going to be connected to a smart grid. You need to have smart homes. You need to have smart plants. But you need also to have a smart distribution system that is going to be able to make sure that everything is connected, and wherever I am in the world I need energy, I will duly receive it.
You end up having a smart office, smart home,
Absolutely.
smart everywhere. Okay.
And this is where we are very involved as a company, bringing all these different entities smart so they can be connected.
Right.
to the smart grid. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of information that need to be exchanged between the consumption world and the generation world.
Right.
So sent way and back, connected, synthesized, so that we can make sure that that there is a correspondence between what is needed
and what is produced. Right. So, are there any standards in as far as smart grid technology is concerned?
There's no worldwide standard being defined today, but there are ongoing work in standardization body, depending where you are, in the global chain, to standardize the way things are going to be exchanged, the way things are going to be communicated. And as you can imagine, as a company involved in that field, we are participating to these standardization bodies.
A lot of things has been said about smart grid, and they said it has to be reliable, it has to be environmental friendly, economical, safe, and efficient. But at the same time, they said it has to be secure. Secure in what sense?
The issue is that when you start to send information, you have to make sure that the integrity of the information is ensured. Because it's this information that is going to probably be triggering a lot of consequence in terms of how you split the energy flow. For instance, let's try to speak very practically about what that means. I'm sure that today you must have a washing machine at home. Do you switch it on at the right time? Not for you, but do you switch it on at the right time when you look at the constraints that are operating on the grid and on the network? Because if all of us switch on the washing machine at the same time, then there is potentially a problem on the grid, because that's a surge of energy that is creating a peak, and that is creating all sorts of other issues in terms of generation.
So in other words, you're saying the smart grid can also, in a way, control the distribution of power?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the role of the smart grid also is to make sure that we shave peaks of generation. Let's give another example. Today, when you have an average consumption in a country which is 100, in average, the installed capacity is 200. Because it has to take into account for the peaks.
Right.
If you shave those peaks, because you incentivize your customer to consume when you are in a low generation phase, then you shave the peaks.
So with the smart grid, all this information also will be available to the consumer?
That's what the smart grid will bring at the end of the day in big sites, in industrial sites, but also going down to the home.
Right. In as far as the Philippines is concerned, where are we in the smart grid technology? And how far are we compared to our Asian neighbors?
Well, I think, it's a very heterogeneous picture that we have at this point in time in Asia. The only thing that I can say, it's true for all the countries of Asia, I think it's true also for the Philippines, is that probably some 5 to 6 years ago, we were not talking so much about those things. When we talk about the Philippines, I think the Philippines is entering also into those considerations because, in the Philippines, we have a security of supply issue. We have a country which is bound to grow, and we believe in the Philippines as one of the countries that is going to grow in the future. So when you grow, you need to have resources to produce more energy, to consume more energy. So I think that the constraint of the economic development of the Philippines is such that the people are aware that there is a need here. The reality of what the country is going to be facing in order to continue to develop economically will certainly push those considerations as top priorities in the country.
Well, it sounds very exciting, and I can't wait those to be in place in the near future. We'll just have to take a break. When we come back, we'll learn more about Schneider Electric, so don't go away. What kind of energy management information can Schneider Electric provide to customers or to business, for example?